Imagine you slip into the campus anatomy lab at midnight. The lights are low, a single atlas lies open, and there is a small handwritten note on the page that says, "The male organ tells a story." You lean in. That story is more than joke. It is anatomy, physics, brain chemistry, and the history and culture, all folded into one living instrument. Start with the parts. There is the glans, the crown, richly supplied with nerve ending. The shaft is made of 2 corpora cavernosa and 1 corpus spongiosa. Inside, run blood channels and nerve. The skin can be tight or loose. The foreskin, when present, is a moving hood with its own sensory map. The urethra runs through, a tube for urine and semen. A tiny ribbon of tissue, the frenulum, links glands to skin and is often surprisingly sensitive. Each part has a job and a different feel. Now, physics and chemistry. An erection is a vascular event turned on by the nervous system. Parasympathetic signals relax smooth muscle. Blood rushes in, the corpora swell, and the tunica compresses outflow, so pressure holds. Nitric oxide is the messenger. It raises cGMP. PDE5 enzymes break cGMP down. Drugs that block PDE5 keep cGMP high and help maintain the blood trapped inside. It reads like plumbing, but it is controlled by feeling, thought, and context. Sensation is a conversation between skin and brain. The dorsal nerve sends signals to the spinal cord and then to sensory cord. In the brain, the somatosensory strip maps the genitals next to the feet, a surprising neighbor on the homunculus. Imaging studies light up the hypothalamus. Insula in reward centers when sexual stimuli arrive. That means pleasure is never just expectation, memory, novelty, and safety, all that on those circuits and change the score. Think about timing. Men often experience a refractory period after climax. Hormones like prolactin and a shift in dopamine tone help explain why the system needs rest. Age, health, mood, and drugs change that rhythm. This is why libido and function are not fixed traits, but dynamic states. Now for myths and variation. Size and pleasure are weakly linked. Sensitivity depends on nerve density, skin type, and personal history. Circumcision changes the local tissue and the pattern of stimulation, but studies on less pleasure or more pleasure are mixed. The truth is nuanced, and personal reports vary widely. Cultural meaning often outpaces biology. How societies talk about the organ shapes, desire, and shame long before nerves ever fire. Clinical problems open scientific door. Erectile difficulty can have vascular, neurological, hormonal, or psychological root. Treatments range from counseling to medication to devices and surgery. Emerging research explores nerve crafting, phalloplasty with sensory targets, and neuroprosthetic feedback. Imagine a future where surgeons reconnect nerves so that a reconstructed tissue can truly feel a real bridge between repair and experience. As a student, the organ is a perfect laboratory for curiosity. Want to study sensory map? Look at 2-point discrimination research in cortical plasticity. Curious about brain states? Read fMRI studies showing how expectation lights up reward areas. Interested in social effects? Study how shame, language, and gender scripts alter reports of pleasure. All of these are researchable, measurable, and ethical if you design studies with informed consent and care. Finally, remember the human side. This small organ carries a lot of identity, fear, hope, and humor. It can be a site of celebration and of distress. Approach it with science and with respect. Ask better questions than common sense provide. Read classic papers and new journal. Talk to clinicians, neurologists, sex therapists, and the people whose lives you want to understand. The male organ is not just anatomy. It is a window into how body and mind meet. Study it closely, and you will trace the shape of desire, the wiring of pleasure, and the social stories we tell about both. Keep that note in your pocket. The male organ tells a story. Open it, and you will want to read on.